Close your eyes now and still the noise of the outer world. Come back to the center of your being, for you are not here by accident, and your soul is not an echo of confusion, but a carrier of divine purpose. The world may have handed you many labels, many roles to play, but beneath it all is a truth untouched by time, a truth that you are gifted, chosen, and equipped by Spirit, in ways you may not yet have understood. You may have wandered through seasons of uncertainty, questioning why you feel different, why you sense things others do not, why you are stirred by invisible currents no one else seems to notice. You may have believed that spiritual gifts are reserved for the anointed few, the prophets on platforms, or the mystics in seclusion. But I tell you now, every soul is born with an inheritance from the divine, and yours is no exception. It is not the absence of gifts that keeps one blind, it is the absence of awareness. For every gift remains dormant until recognized, and once it is seen, acknowledged, and embodied, it begins to move through you like breath through lungs, like wind through trees. Your spiritual gifts are not found, they are remembered. You are not sent here to acquire power, but to unveil what has always been within you. There are impressions you've ignored, nudges you've dismissed, inner knowings you've called coincidence. But nothing in the realm of spirit is accidental. That persistent inner voice, that inexplicable knowing, that compassion that flows unreasonably, the dreams that leave imprints on your waking mind, these are not just experiences, they are the fingerprints of your calling. You have looked for signs in the sky when the signs have been etched into your heart. You have waited for someone to affirm your identity when heaven has already spoken it over you. You are not lacking in spiritual power, you are merely in the waiting room of awareness, and this moment is your invitation to open the door. Your gift may be the ability to discern truth when no one else can see it. It may be the power to comfort others with words you didn't plan to speak. It may be a healing energy in your presence that others cannot name. It may be visions, dreams, unshakable faith, or a stillness so deep it changes the room. Do not judge your gift by the world's standards. Spirit chooses vessels not for status, but for surrender. You don't need to chase the supernatural. You are the supernatural in human form. You are the living evidence of divine intention, and your gifts are not something to be earned through perfection, but awakened through awareness. What you honor within you will rise. What you deny will remain buried in potential. Think now of the moments where you felt most alive. Those flashes of clarity, those unexplainable encounters, those tears that fell without reason. That was your soul whispering through the veil. That was Spirit reminding you, you are more than what you see. The kingdom is not coming from the clouds, it is rising from within. And if you have ever wondered why certain people are drawn to you, why you feel heavy in places others find light, why you cry over things others laugh at, it is because you are wired differently. You are sensitive not by flaw, but by design. For those with spiritual gifts carry frequencies others cannot detect. You were made to be a bridge between dimensions, a messenger between realms. Do not seek permission to be what you already are. The moment you accept your divine assignment, the moment you stop hiding behind humility and step into holy confidence, the gift will flow like a river breaking past a dam. Your mind does not need to understand it. Your soul already does. Yield to that, knowing there is no ceremony, no degree, no certificate that can validate what God already placed within you. You are already authorized by heaven to move, to speak, to heal, to shift atmospheres, to awaken others. The question is not whether you are gifted. The question is whether you are ready to stop pretending you are not. Your spiritual gifts are waiting not for more worthiness, but for more willingness. They do not respond to striving, they respond to surrender. And surrender is not weakness, it is the highest form of spiritual courage. When you surrender to who you truly are, the gifts hidden within you begin to activate in silence and in power. You have been feeling the stirring, you have sensed the call. You are not confused, you are being awakened. The fog is not punishment, it is preparation. Because once you step fully into the awareness of your spiritual nature, everything that once confused you begins to make sense. The pain begins to reveal its purpose. The delays begin to reveal divine alignment. The isolation begins to reveal sacred training. You are not meant to compare your gift to another's. The Spirit expresses differently through every vessel, like light through stained glass. No two rays are the same, yet all come from the same source. Yours may not look like the fire of another. It may be a whisper instead of thunder. But power does not need volume, it needs presence. And your presence carries weight when you know who you are. So sit now in stillness and ask not with desperation, but with certainty, what is mine to carry in this world? And then wait, not for a shout, but for a subtle knowing it will come. Not from above, but from within. Your gift is not something you manufacture, it is something you remember. And when you remember it, embody it, speak from it, move in it, you become the revelation others have been waiting for. Let the doubt fall away now. Let the fear that you are not enough dissolve. Let the illusion that you must do more to be more vanish like smoke. The Spirit is already alive in you. Your gift is already present. All that remains is your yes. The moment you say yes to the truth that you are gifted, everything begins to change. Not because the world outside transforms instantly, but because your perception, your awareness, shifts into alignment with your divine design. And awareness is everything. Awareness is the door, and your faith is the key that opens it. You may have spent years looking outward for affirmation, waiting for someone to discover you, to call out your name and tell you that you matter, that you carry something special. But you were never meant to be discovered by others. You were meant to discover yourself. Your gifts do not respond to applause. They respond to inner agreement. And yet, the world around you has often trained you to dismiss what you feel, to explain away the very evidence of your spiritual nature. You've been told that imagination is childish, that intuition is unreliable, that emotion is weakness. But these are the very languages of spirit. What the world labels irrational, heaven often calls prophetic. What the world suppresses, the divine uses to awaken and transform. Your feelings are not distractions, they are messengers. Your sensitivities are not curses, they are clues. Your visions, your dreams, your inner stirrings, those were never random. They are the fingerprints of God on the inside of your consciousness, pressing gently until you awaken to the truth. You were made to remember, not to conform, not to blend in, but to become the fullest expression of the eternal within you. And so now, as you move through the stillness of your own being, realize this: your gifts are not for performance, they are for purpose. They are not to elevate your image, they are to illuminate the path for others. This is not about being admired, this is about being available. The world doesn't need another personality, it needs more presence. Your presence, in full awareness of the Spirit moving through you. When you deny your gift, you dim the light of God within you. When you shrink back in fear, you postpone the healing that could move through your life. You were not created to question whether or not you have something to offer. You were created to release it without apology. And even if no one sees it yet, even if it goes uncelebrated by the world, it still matters. Heaven sees. Heaven has always seen. What if you stopped waiting for evidence and started trusting your essence? What if you lived as if the gift was already in full operation, not tomorrow, but now? Because the truth is, you are not waiting on your spiritual gift. Your spiritual gift is waiting on you. You've had moments where you walked into a room and felt the energy shift, where someone spoke their need and you knew exactly what to say, though it made no logical sense. You've had moments where your heart was burdened for someone you hadn't seen in years, only to find out they needed prayer. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations. You have been used by Spirit more than you know, and the more you lean in, the more it will unfold. You won't need to force it. The gift makes its own way when you stop resisting it. You don't need to know how to control it. You need only to trust the source behind it. You don't need to speak in the tongues of angels to be anointed. Sometimes the most powerful gift is listening with divine compassion. Do not underestimate what seems small. A word of encouragement, a quiet intercession, a moment of silence held for someone in pain. These are acts of spiritual warfare. These are movements of grace. These are the manifestations of the divine flowing through a willing soul. And even if your mind questions it, even if your past tells you are unworthy, even if your history is stained with mistakes and failures, your spiritual gift does not come with conditions. It comes with covenant. You were always meant to carry it. It was given not because of your perfection, but because of your purpose. And purpose always overrides your past. Your pain didn't cancel your calling. It refined it. What you walked through was not to break you, but to awaken you. The fire didn't come to burn you, it came to reveal the gold inside. And your gift, your true spiritual gift, is forged in the quiet places of surrender, in the hidden places where you said yes to God when no one else was watching. You don't need to announce it. You don't need to prove it. You just need to walk in it. There is no competition in the Spirit. There is no hierarchy of gifts, whether your gift is prophecy or prayer, healing or hospitality, discernment or creativity. Each is a thread in the fabric of divine intention. So take the pressure off. You do not have to try to be gifted. You simply need to become aware of what is already within you. The vine never strives to produce fruit, it abides, and the fruit comes. You are not the source, you are the vessel. And the more you yield, the more freely the Spirit flows. What if today you stopped asking, do I have a gift, and started declaring, I'm ready to use what I've been given? That shift changes everything, because the moment you own your divine identity, heaven responds. Opportunities begin to find you. People begin to recognize what they couldn't see before. Doors begin to open not because of effort, but because of alignment. You are not starting from lack, you are starting from overflow. You are not building something from scratch. You are remembering what was deposited into your soul before time began. There is no scarcity in the realm of spirit. You are connected to an infinite supply, and your gift is simply the way that supply flows into the world. Let go of the need to be dramatic. The Spirit rarely comes with fireworks. It comes in the still, small voice. It comes in the peace that surpasses understanding. It comes in the knowing that won't let go. You are not here to chase signs. You are here to be a sign, to live as a walking expression of God's intention, His creativity, His love. And every time you allow that expression to move through you, through your words, your thoughts, your energy, you are fulfilling your divine assignment, even if no one else recognizes it, even if it doesn't look like what you expected, even if it feels small. It is sacred. So sit with this question. If I knew for certain I was spiritually gifted, how would I show up differently in the world? What would I stop hiding? What would I stop apologizing for? What would I start saying yes to? The answer to that question is your path forward. The moment you choose to live as if your gift is already active, it becomes active. Because the Spirit moves not where it is begged, but where it is believed. You are not waiting on permission. You are not waiting on clarity. You are not waiting on a feeling. You are being called. Right now, in this moment, not to do more, but to remember more. To align with what has been whispering inside of you all along. Let yourself respond to that whisper. Let yourself be bold enough to say, yes, I am gifted. Not with arrogance, but with holy confidence. Not to elevate self, but to magnify spirit. You do not need to know how it will all unfold. You need only to agree with the unfolding. And as you begin to trust that truth, your life will begin to reflect it. You will notice divine timing aligning. You will meet people whose hearts leap when you speak. You will feel energy shifting when you enter a room. And it won't be because you've learned something new. It will be because you finally accepted what was always true. You are gifted, you are called, you are chosen, and the world has been waiting for you to remember. You are not made to blend in with the noise of the world, to silence the very frequency that sets you apart. The spirit within you is not mild, it is mighty, but it moves through stillness. It doesn't shout for attention. It whispers patiently, consistently, through dreams you dismiss, urges you ignore, thoughts you think are just your own, but they are not your own. They are echoes of your divine assignment, knocking gently on the door of your awareness. And now you're beginning to listen. The moment you say, I am willing, the atmosphere shifts. Your reality starts to rearrange itself around that willingness. You may not feel lightning, you may not hear thunder, but something is set in motion in the unseen. Because spiritual gifts are not activated by emotion, they are activated by agreement. Think of all the times you knew something was coming before it came. All the times you walked away from something you couldn't explain and later found it was protection. All the times someone said, how did you know just what I needed to hear? And you shrugged, not realizing that it was your gift flowing effortlessly through your surrendered being. These were not anomalies, they were previews. Previews of what happens when you live in alignment with the spirit that formed you. The gift you carry is not about spotlight or platform. It's about permission to be fully, unapologetically you. Permission to be the interpreter of invisible things, the voice of clarity in a world of noise, the embodiment of peace in a place of chaos. It's not flashy, it's not for show, it's sacred. And if you've ever felt like you don't belong, it may be because you weren't sent to fit in, but to shift. You weren't made to reflect the world, you were made to reveal something greater. There is a reason the crowd never satisfied you. There is a reason you've always craved deeper truth, a higher frequency. You've been spiritually wired to perceive beyond the physical. You've been tuned to heaven's frequency, and now it's time to stop turning down the volume. Stop asking for the world's permission to do what heaven already confirmed. You've been called to awaken, to stand in your authority, not by might, not by power, but by spirit. To stop doubting the inner leading that keeps pulling you forward and start trusting that if it comes from peace, it comes from God. That if it leads you into greater love, greater healing, greater light, it is not your imagination, it is your revelation. You were never empty, you were only unaware. And awareness is what births activation. The moment you become aware of your gift, the gift begins to work on your behalf. You'll be drawn to the right people, led to the right conversations, open to divine timing that human logic cannot explain. That is not coincidence, that is orchestration. And it begins when you stop second-guessing the call and start showing up as the answer. The truth is, your gift is not just for you. It's for someone waiting on the other side of your obedience. It's for the one who doesn't yet know they're loved. It's for the broken one who needs hope. It's for the room that needs light. And when you show up in alignment, you become a portal. You become a gate through which heaven touches earth. That's what the gift is for, to bridge what is unseen with what is seen, to let spirit speak through a surrendered vessel. But understand this, the gift doesn't always feel like power. Sometimes it feels like burden, like being awake in a world asleep, like carrying something too big for words, like sensing things you can't explain, but that's part of the gift. You are carrying weight others cannot see, and your job is not to make them understand. It's to remain faithful anyway. The gift may isolate you, but it will also anoint you. The path of the spiritually awakened is rarely crowded because few are willing to walk by faith when sight is more comfortable. But you were called for more, not more success, not more recognition, more impact, more authenticity, more presence, more divine partnership. When you walk in your gift, you become dangerous to darkness. Your very presence disturbs the atmosphere. Your words cut through illusions. Your silence dismantles confusion. And that's why the enemy tried to convince you you were insignificant, because he knew if you ever discovered who you truly are, if you ever stopped running from your gift, if you ever stood still and let it rise, you would become a force no darkness could contain. Your life is not random. Your wiring is not flawed. Your sensitivity is not weakness. Every part of you has been crafted for this season, this generation, this divine moment. And when you accept that, when you stop apologizing for how you are and start honoring who you are, the gift flows like water breaking through a dam. There is no formula. There is only surrender. The Spirit will lead you, not through logic, but through alignment. You'll feel it in your body. You'll sense it in your spirit. And when you respond, miracles will follow, not because you're trying to perform, but because you're allowing Spirit to flow through a yielded vessel. You don't have to wait for a pulpit to preach. Your life is a sermon. You don't need a stage to shine. Your light is not dependent on visibility. You are luminous, whether seen or unseen. And that's the beauty of the gift. It works in silence, it moves in shadows, it brings light to dark places, not through noise, but through presence. And the more you walk in it, the more you realize it was never about finding your gift, it was about becoming the gift. You are the miracle, you are the message, you are the evidence of what Spirit can do through a human fully surrendered. So stop searching for signs outside you. Start responding to the signal within you. You are not waiting on God. God is waiting on your agreement. And when you agree, when you stop resisting, when you stop doubting, when you start declaring, the flow begins. You'll speak and not know why your words pierce someone's soul. You'll show up and healing will begin. You'll dream and the dream will guide you. You'll listen and truth will emerge, not because of you, but through you. And there, in that holy flow, you'll discover the truth you've always known deep down. You were born for this. You were created to carry something heaven-breathed, something not defined by age or background or qualifications, something eternal, something divine. There is no need to convince anyone of it. Your life will speak for itself. Your gift will make room for you, not because you forced it, but because you became it. You do not need to chase it, you need to yield to it. You do not need to prove it, you need to embody it. And even when no one claps, even when the room is silent, even when the fruit is invisible for a while, stay faithful, because the gift is not validated by results. It is activated by obedience. It is not defined by visibility. It is deepened by intimacy. You and Spirit co-creating, co-laboring, moving in harmony. That is where the power lives. So release the need to be spectacular and choose to be spiritual, choose to be surrendered, choose to be authentic. Because when you are fully yourself in God, the gift flows without strain. It flows in joy, it flows in truth, it flows in love, and it reaches the places no man-made effort ever could. You were always meant to be a conduit, a vessel, a holy expression of an invisible reality. And the more you trust it, the more it will pour through you, shaping the world, healing hearts, and awakening others to their own divine nature. You carry more than you know, you always have. Now is the time to stop questioning and start becoming. Let it rise, let it speak, let it shine. Your gift has been waiting on your yes. Let today be the day you give it. There is a quiet moment before every transformation where everything inside of you knows the truth even before your mind catches up. You feel it in the stillness. You feel it in the ache that nothing in the world seems to fill. It's not because you're broken. It's because you're being summoned. And that summons isn't coming from outside of you. It's emerging from within. The Spirit is awakening the gift. This is why you've been restless in rooms where everyone else was content. This is why you felt the pull towards something more, even when life looked stable. This is why you can't ignore the tug to go deeper when others are satisfied staying on the surface. Because you've been carrying something eternal, and eternity doesn't let you settle for temporary satisfaction. The gift inside you refuses to let you stay asleep. The world has taught you how to be productive, but the Spirit is teaching you how to be present. You were not made to run endlessly in circles, chasing approval, chasing validation. You were created to abide, to dwell in truth, to move not from anxiety but from alignment. Your spiritual gift does not activate through effort, it activates through awareness. And the more you rest in your divine identity, the louder that gift begins to speak. You may not know what to call it yet. You may not have the words to define it, but it's real, it's there. That inner wisdom, that creative force, that supernatural compassion, that perception that defies logic, it's all part of it. Stop trying to label what Spirit is trying to reveal. Just let it be, let it move, let it form, and trust that clarity always follows obedience. Every time you've held space for someone in their pain without fixing them, you were operating in your gift. Every time you listened without judgment, prayed without ceasing, forgave without reason, or believed when there was no proof, that was your gift. That was the divine manifesting through your simple, faithful willingness. You don't need to wait until you feel worthy. The truth is, if worthiness were the requirement, no one would ever be used. Spirit flows not through perfect vessels, but through open ones. The gift doesn't need you to be flawless. It needs you to be available. There is power in simply saying, use me, not as a performance, not as a show, but as a surrendered being saying yes to what already is. You may have been conditioned to believe that if no one applauds, it doesn't count. That if the platform is small, the gift must be insignificant. But that's not how heaven measures value. The Spirit isn't concerned with scale, it's concerned with sincerity. One act of love from your spiritual gift can ripple through generations. One whisper of truth can uproot decades of lies. One quiet moment of obedience can change the atmosphere of a family, a community, a nation. Your gift was not given to make you impressive, it was given to make you impactful. The world is filled with noise and distraction, but one word spoken from alignment carries more weight than 1,000 shouted from ego. And you know this because you've felt it. You've been touched by a glance, a phrase, a presence that carried something unexplainable. That is the power of spiritual gifting. It doesn't have to explain itself. It just is. So what do you do now? You listen. You listen not just with your ears, but with your spirit. You watch for patterns. You follow the threads. You pay attention to the things that ignite your soul, because your gift is hiding in the things you've always loved, the things that keep finding you, the things you would do even if no one paid attention. It may be the way you create, the way you comfort, the way you intercede. It may be how you dream, how you lead, how you speak, how you feel. Stop asking for someone to confirm what you already know. The Spirit has already confirmed it. You are anointed. You are equipped. You are chosen for this very moment in time. And your gift is not in rehearsal, it's ready. Stop hiding it beneath busyness. Stop burying it beneath fear. The world does not need more polished performers. The world needs awakened people. People who are not just aware of their gift, but embody it in every moment. People who bring spirit into meetings, into families, into grocery stores, into conversations. People who leak light wherever they go, not because they're trying, but because they've become it. This is who you are. Not a seeker chasing miracles, but a miracle walking. Not a servant begging for signs, but a signpost pointing others home. You are the evidence of the divine in motion. You are the breath of God wrapped in skin, moving through the world with purpose. And the more you say yes to that, the more power flows through you. You were never meant to be a spectator in this life. You were meant to be a channel, a vessel, a sacred current of truth, light, and love. And even if you never preach a sermon, even if you never write a book, even if you never hold a microphone, Your presence alone is a message. Your energy speaks. Your life is your platform, and when you live from your gift, the world cannot help but notice, even if they don't have words for it. You are not here to fit into a mold. You are here to break the illusion, to shift the energy, to interrupt the programming, to call people back to what is real. You are a divine disruption in a world that tries to stay asleep. And that disruption isn't always loud. Often it's soft, often it's invisible, but it's always powerful. Your job is not to convince, your job is to embody. Let the gift shine, and those meant to receive it will recognize it. They will be drawn not to your talent, but to your truth, not to your skills, but to your spirit. And in that moment, something will awaken in them, just as it has awakened in you. This is how the gift works. It multiplies in the presence of authenticity. It expands in surrender. It flows where there is no resistance, and it speaks where words cannot. There is nothing more to prove, there's only more to become. You don't need to study more to be gifted. You don't need to earn more, know more, accomplish more. You simply need to remember. Remember that the divine chose you, that you were woven in the womb with intention, that every piece of your design has been tailored to your purpose. You are not too late, you are not behind, you are not disqualified, you are right on time, right in alignment, right at the threshold of becoming what you always were. So stop asking for instructions and start walking in trust. Let the gift teach you. Let it unfold you. Let it lead you into deeper surrender. You don't have to do it all. You only have to do the next thing, the next right step, the next act of obedience, the next yes. And every yes opens another layer. Every act of faith unlocks another door. Every time you show up in your authenticity, you give permission for someone else to do the same. This is how we change the world, not through force, but through frequency, through walking so fully in our divine gifting that everything unlike truth begins to unravel in our presence. And when you look back, you'll realize it wasn't about achieving something grand, it was about becoming someone true, someone free, someone surrendered, someone who dared to believe that the gift inside of them wasn't just real, it was necessary. So be still, be bold, be present, and let the gift speak. You don't need a sign in the heavens or a voice from the clouds to validate what has already been whispered into the depths of your being. The confirmation isn't coming from outside, it's already vibrating within your spirit. You've felt it in the stillness, in the moments you could not explain, in the tears that came for no reason, in the words that seemed to flow from your lips that you didn't rehearse or plan. The Spirit has been speaking all along. The only thing left is your agreement. And agreement doesn't require a performance. It requires presence. It requires honesty. To admit, yes, there is something in me greater than what I've known. Yes, there's something sacred moving through my life. Yes, I am not just human, I am divine in motion. And when you begin to live from that place, not ego, not ambition, but spiritual alignment, you stop striving, you stop trying to prove anything, because when you know who you are, the world no longer dictates your worth. Every step you take in awareness is a step deeper into your gift. The Spirit isn't going to reveal everything all at once. That's not how transformation works. That's not how divine purpose unfolds. It's revealed in layers, in seasons, in moments of surrender. And each time you respond with yes, yes to the prompt, yes to the pull, yes to the knowing, the path clears a little more. You're not walking blindly, you're walking faithfully. That's the journey of the gifted. It's not always loud, it's not always visible. Sometimes you're led into the wilderness before you're released into the world. Sometimes the most powerful anointing is hidden in seasons of silence, where the Spirit is preparing you not just to have the gift, but to carry it without crumbling. Your strength isn't measured by how well you perform. It's measured by how deeply you remain rooted in truth when no one is watching. Because your gift will cost you something. It will cost you your comfort. It will cost you your need to be liked. It will cost you your attachment to being understood. Not everyone will get you. Not everyone will agree with you. Not everyone will see what you see. And that's okay. You were not called to convince the crowd. You were called to carry the current, to bring light into darkness, to bring clarity where there is confusion, to bring healing where there is hidden pain. And when you realize this, you stop waiting for permission to walk in purpose. You stop asking people who don't see your assignment to validate your anointing. You begin to realize that if God gave you the gift, He will also give you the grace to walk it out. You don't need to beg for open doors. You are the open door. You don't need to wait for opportunity. You are the opportunity that heaven is sending into the world. But you have to believe it, because the gift flows through belief. Not just belief in God, but belief in God in you. That is the foundation, that is the anchor. You must believe that the Creator who breathed galaxies into existence also breathed purpose into you. And that purpose is not some future version of you that is finally perfect. It is you right now in this moment. Broken but willing, wounded but awake, human but housing something holy. This is why the enemy fights your identity, because if he can keep you from knowing who you are, he can keep you from using what you've been given. But the moment you wake up, the moment you rise into remembrance, the chains fall, the lies unravel, the fear loses its grip, and you begin to see clearly you were never inadequate, you were never forgotten, you were never disqualified, you were just asleep to the truth of your nature. But now you are waking. And in that awakening, something begins to shift, not just in your life, but in the lives of everyone connected to your obedience. Because your gift isn't just about you, it's about legacy. It's about the generations that will walk in freedom because you chose to walk in truth. It's about the people who will be healed because you chose to stop hiding. It's about the awakening of those who didn't know it was possible until they saw it in you. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't have to be known to be significant. All you have to do is become the embodiment of the truth you carry. That's all Spirit requires of you. And when you live that truth, your life becomes a sanctuary. Your words become medicine. Your energy becomes deliverance. You become the answer to a prayer someone didn't know how to pray. You become the answer to a prayer someone didn't know how to pray. And the gift flows not from effort, but from intimacy. From being so close to the divine within that everything you do, everything you touch, everything you speak carries the weight of glory, not because you tried to be spiritual, but because you allowed yourself to be available. That's where the gift moves, in availability. So ask yourself now, are you willing? Are you willing to trust that you don't need to see the full picture to walk in the next step? Are you willing to let go of the need to explain yourself to those who are not assigned to your journey? Are you willing to walk in confidence even when you feel unsure? Are you willing to say yes without knowing the how? Because that's all it takes, a yes. Not a perfect plan, not a flawless strategy, just a surrendered yes. And once you offer it, the gift begins to stir. The oil begins to flow. The door begins to open, not outside of you, but within. Within, and that inner opening is where the miracle starts. From that place, you no longer look for validation from the world. You don't need applause to know you're aligned. You don't need confirmation from man to know you are called. You walk with quiet confidence, with inner authority, with an unshakable knowing that God is moving through me and I am enough for this moment. And the more you stay in that place, the more you begin to realize this gift isn't something you possess, it's something you are. It's not something you activate, it's something you awaken to. You are the gift. You are the channel. You are the light. And the more you allow yourself to embody that reality, the more heaven flows through your life like living water. You were born with a blueprint. You were designed with intention. And even if life tried to bury it under trauma, under shame, under delay, under confusion, it's still there, waiting, ready, undamaged, unbroken, divine. So don't delay another moment. Don't postpone your purpose for the comfort of the familiar. Don't silence your truth to avoid conflict. Don't bury your gift just to make others comfortable. Rise into who you were always meant to be. Speak what you were born to say. Live as if your yes is shifting the atmosphere, because it is. There is something sacred in you that the world cannot afford to lose. There is a sound in your voice that someone is waiting to hear. There is a light in your soul that will ignite the fire in others. But it starts with your yes. It starts with your agreement. It starts with your awareness that you are not here to chase purpose, you are purpose embodied. You've carried it long enough in silence. You've questioned it long enough in secret. You've minimized it long enough out of fear. Now is the time. Now is the moment, now is the season to let it rise, let it move, let it speak. Let it touch the world through you. You are ready, not because you have all the answers, but because you have the awareness to say yes. And when you say yes, fully, finally, fearlessly, the gift that has always been waiting for you begins to flow without limit. So now stand not as one who is searching, but as one who has found. Not as one who begs, but as one who remembers. The gift within you has never been absent, only awaiting your agreement, your awareness, your yes. You are not waiting on a sign, you are the sign. You are not lacking, you are overflowing. Walk now in the quiet certainty that Spirit has chosen you, equipped you, and is moving through you. Let your life become the evidence. Let your presence become the answer. The time is no longer coming, the time is now. And you are ready. April 1st will decide your fate, a life-changing, prophetic warning. There are moments in time, seemingly ordinary days, that are not what they appear to be. Days cloaked in disguise, days that laugh, jest, and pretend to be fools, but behind the veil destiny stirs. April 1st. A day the world calls Fool's Day. A day of mockery, of tricks, of jesters, parading in the mask of deception. But I tell you now, this April 1st is not like the others. This April 1st holds a weight, a mystery, a trembling that echoes from eternity. For the calendar of man is but a shallow thing, a fragile construct. But there is another calendar, a divine timetable. And on that timetable, April 1st has been marked, not as a joke, not as folly, but as a line in the sand. A fork in the road, a moment of choice, a day of reckoning. What if the day of fools is the day of revelation? What if the jest hides judgment? What if behind the laughter there is a warning? There is a principle, ancient and unshakable, found in the fabric of the Scriptures. God uses the foolish things to shame the wise. And so it is. On the day that men laugh, heaven may weep. On the day men play, the throne of judgment may be set. The alarm is sounding, the trumpet is being blown, but not with fanfare, no, with subtlety, like a whisper on the wind. April 1st is coming. You thought it was just another day, but heaven knows better. The choices you've made, the paths you've followed, the truth you've ignored, the voice you've silenced, it all stands before you now, not in accusation but in invitation. For this day will divide, it will expose, it will decide. You stand at the threshold of a great unveiling. You can pretend it's all a game, you can laugh with the crowd, play the fool, dismiss the signs, or you can awaken, shake off the slumber, open your eyes. Because the fool says in his heart, there is no God, but the wise hear the call in the whirlwind. And the Spirit is stirring, the veil is thin. You've been chosen for this hour, for this warning, for this chance. And this April 1st may be your moment to turn, to break, to rise. What you do with it will echo into eternity. So I speak now, not to your ears, but to your soul. The hour is late, the choice is real, and the day of fools may be the day of fate. You see, what men call foolish, God often calls sacred. What the world mocks, heaven watches. And what appears as jest on the surface may be the camouflage of divine intervention. For even now, as this date approaches, April 1st, the winds are shifting. The world continues in its distractions, its diversions, its entertainments, blind to the trembling in the heavens. But there is a shaking, a disturbance in the realm you cannot see, but your spirit can feel, a rumble that is not of this world. And yet, so many sleep. They walk with eyes open, but souls closed. They scroll and swipe and talk and laugh, but the voice calling from beyond remains ignored. But you, something in you knows that this isn't just another April 1st ... that there's something different, that there's a summons deep in the marrow of your bones, and you can't explain it, but it's real. Because you've been marked. You are not just one among many. You are the one chosen to hear, to feel, to sense that the hour has come, that something is being required of you. That heaven has drawn a line and your name has been whispered on the other side. You are not here by accident, not hearing these words by chance. The same hand that etched destiny into the stars is the same hand reaching for you now. The day of mockery, the day of jest, it hides a sacred assignment. The scriptures speak of a time when men will call good evil and evil good, when the prophets will be mocked and the truth will be trampled in the streets. We are living in such a time when the sacred is ridiculed, when conviction is condemned, when compromise is celebrated. And so the warnings come not with thunder, but with riddles, not with earthquakes, but with whispers, because the wise must discern what the foolish miss. And here lies the paradox. The day that wears the mask of the fool may be the very day heaven unmasks your soul. What if this day, April 1st, is a divine test wrapped in laughter? A window disguised as a wall, a door painted to look like stone. There are moments when your entire life pivots on a single decision, a moment disguised in the ordinary. But when the books are opened in eternity, that moment will shine like a starburst. This is one of those moments you think you've got time, that tomorrow is guaranteed, that warnings are for others, that prophetic signs are dramatic, loud, unmistakable, but no, often they are hidden, encoded in the mundane, wrapped in ordinary things, a bush that burns but is not consumed, a whisper in a cave, a cross on a hill mistaken for failure, yet it split time in two. April 1st may look like jest, but heaven is serious. The fool dances on the edge of the cliff, laughing while the ground crumbles, but the wise feel the trembling beneath their feet and step back. Which are you? This is not a scare. This is not drama. This is mercy. The kind of mercy that shouts before the crash, the kind of love that warns before the fall. You say, but what could possibly change in a day? Everything. A life can turn in a moment. A soul can be pierced with a word. A nation can fall overnight, and a destiny can awaken in the blink of an eye. One moment in the presence of truth can undo years of wandering. One choice can rewrite the narrative of your life. This is such a choice. There are things that cannot go with you into the next chapter. Habits, compromises, hidden sins, delays, old wounds. The door that is opening before you requires that you leave them behind. April 1st will not wait for your comfort. It will not adjust to your convenience. It is coming like a train at full speed, and you must decide whether you will get on board or be left behind. And here's the mystery. It is not just about what will happen on April 1st. It's about what's been building toward it. The choices you've made, the ones you've avoided, the whispers you've silenced, the convictions you've pushed down. All of it culminates in this appointed time, this kairos moment, this intersection of the seen and unseen. The enemy wants you to laugh it off. He wants you to say, it's just a joke, it's just another day, don't take it so seriously. But your spirit knows better. Because you've felt the nudges, you've heard the quiet alarms, You've seen the signs that the path you've walked cannot continue unchanged. The days of pretending are over. The hour of games has passed. And now the voice calls, not from the mountaintop, but from deep within you, return. Return to the purpose for which you were born. Return to the fire that once burned in your heart. Return to the secret place where you used to hear the whisper of God in the silence. You cannot keep walking with one foot in the light and one in the dark. The path is narrowing, the time is short, and the window is closing. April 1st will decide if you cross over or stay behind. The time of passive faith is done. The shaking will increase. What can be shaken will be shaken, and only what is rooted will remain. The time of borrowed conviction and inherited beliefs is over. Now comes the time of reckoning. Not punishment, alignment. A realignment of your life to the truth you already know but have been afraid to face. You are not powerless. You are not forgotten. You are not here to merely survive this life. You were born to burn, to shine, to be a voice, not an echo. And everything you've walked through, every trial, every heartbreak, every detour, has led you to this moment. But the fire cannot fall on an altar that's broken. So rebuild the altar. Take this season, this strange, sobering, sacred moment disguised as a foolish day, and offer yourself again. Not just your words, not just your promises, your life, your time, your choices, your secret thoughts. Lay them down, because this time heaven is not asking for religion. It is asking for surrender. And when you surrender, you will find that this day, the day others laugh off, becomes your day of clarity. The veil will lift, the confusion will break, the fog will clear. You will see again, you will feel again, you will become again not who you were, but who you were always meant to be. There is a remnant rising, not the loudest, not the most visible, but the ones who said yes when others laughed, the ones who bowed when others boasted, the ones who chose humility in a world that worships pride. These are the chosen. These are the awakened. And you too have been called. But the calling is not automatic. The invitation is not a guarantee. You must respond. The door is open, but you must walk through it. And April 1st is that door. So as the world mocks, as the laughter rises, as the pranks unfold, look beyond it. Listen deeper. Ask the question, what is this day for me? Because one day you will look back and you will say either, that was the day I dismissed destiny as a joke, or you will say, that was the day everything changed. Heaven is waiting. The choice is yours, because the choice has always been yours. Since the beginning in the garden with the tree and a voice and the lie of the serpent, did God really say? The war has always been about choice, and today it is no different. The serpent still speaks, the lie still whispers. It's not serious, it's not urgent. It's just a day, it's just April 1st. But listen, don't you feel it? Beneath the laughter, something trembles. Under the sound of jokes and distractions, there's a current pulling, a truth pushing up through the cracks. And the fool may walk by it, never noticing. But the chosen, the called, the sensitive in spirit, they feel it. This is not just about a date, it's about destiny. It's about what has been building in the hidden places, the decisions made in silence, the compromises justified in darkness, the paths taken in fear, not faith. And now all of it stands exposed, not by men, but by time, because time itself is a witness. It testifies. And there comes a moment when time speaks louder than any voice. April 1st is not just a day, it is a witness, it is a mirror, it is a threshold. and what you do with it may echo into every day that follows. You've waited for the right time, for the perfect moment to shift, to turn, to return. But the perfect moment never comes when you're waiting for comfort. The move of God rarely waits for the convenience of man. He moves when He moves, and when He does, you move or you miss it. The Spirit of God does not wait for our calendars. He does not knock endlessly on a door that remains closed. There comes a time when the sound of knocking fades, when the opportunity passes, and what remains is not judgment, but silence. And silence, for a soul that once heard the voice of God, is the loudest agony of all. Do not trade the voice of destiny for the noise of the crowd. Do not trade the weight of eternity for the weightlessness of a laugh, because the days are shortening, the distractions are multiplying, and the world is spinning faster toward the edge. What was once considered sacred is now scoffed at. What was once unthinkable is now celebrated. And those who speak truth are labeled mad fools in a world of blind men. But remember this, in the eyes of eternity, it is not the truth speaker who is the fool. It is the one who laughs while the storm gathers. The storm is not just coming, it's here, not always in the form of thunder, but in subtle shifts, in unease, in emptiness, in a world where people have everything and yet are starving inside. The famine is not of food, it is of meaning, it is of purpose, it is of truth. And April 1st becomes for some the day they recognize the hunger they can no longer ignore, the hunger that no pleasure can satisfy, the thirst that no success can quench, the ache that no applause can heal. Because you were not made to be entertained, you were made to be set apart, called out, marked by fire. But the fire requires wood, the altar requires sacrifice, and you cannot receive what's next if your hands are full of what never belonged to you in the first place. There must be a letting go of old wounds you still wear like armor, of sins you've made peace with in the name of survival, of identities you built from brokenness, not from truth, of fear masquerading as wisdom, of comfort posing as peace. Because everything false must fall away if the true is to arise. And the true you is waiting on the other side of obedience. It won't be easy, it won't be loud, it may not even make sense, but the whisper of destiny is stronger than the roar of comfort. The voice that calls your name knows where you're meant to go, even if you've forgotten. You think you've disqualified yourself, that your mistakes are too many, that you missed too many signs, that you waited too long. But the fact that you're hearing this now proves otherwise. Because mercy has a way of coming back around. Because purpose doesn't forget the one it was written for. And because grace does not knock with anger, it knocks with urgency. This is not about fear, it is about truth. And truth, when it pierces, can feel like fire. But fire cleanses, fire refines, fire awakens. In the collapse side of healing, you've seen the signs in the news, in the world, in your own life. Things shifting, foundations cracking, systems breaking, the illusion of control slipping through your fingers. And it's not just you, it's everywhere. The world is being exposed, and so are we. You cannot hide behind the mask anymore. You cannot keep playing roles written by people who never knew your soul. You cannot keep shrinking to fit inside cages you were never meant to inhabit. You are not the version of yourself that fear created. You are not the story that failure told you. You are not the lie that pain repeated. You are the chosen one, not chosen because you are perfect, but chosen because you are willing. Willing to hear, willing to turn, willing to rise. But willingness is not enough without action. The call must be answered, And the answer requires everything. There are no half offerings in the kingdom of purpose, no partial surrenders, no silent yes. It is all or nothing, because the cost is high, but the reward is beyond anything you could imagine. What's waiting on the other side of your yes? Maybe a healing you've prayed for, but only surrender can unlock. Maybe a calling you've glimpsed but never dared to embrace. Maybe the restoration of what was lost, the resurrection of what died, the rebuilding of what was broken beyond recognition. But none of it comes until you choose. This is the paradox of divine moments. They demand what we think we cannot give, but when we give it, we realize it was never ours to keep. You have been circling the same mountain long enough. You have waited for permission when heaven already said go. You have held on to the edge when you were called to leap. And now the trumpet sounds, not in a sanctuary, but in your spirit, not with fanfare, but with finality. A quiet urgency that says, now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, not when it all makes sense. No. And if you wait too long, the door will close, not out of punishment, but because timing matters, because appointments have windows, and this is yours. There's something holy about a deadline, something sobering about knowing a moment will not last forever, that a date approaches that will not come again in the same way, that April 1st is more than a number, it is a turning, and you must choose. The world will not understand. They will mock your seriousness, laugh at your urgency, call you dramatic. They may say, lighten up, it's just April Fools. But the ones who carry fire have never been understood by those who live in smoke. You were not made to blend in. You were not made to entertain the world while your soul decays. You were made to set the course, to speak when others are silent, to stand when others bow, to burn when others chill to the coldness of compromise. This is the hour. You've been prepared for it even in ways you did not see. Every pain, every delay, every disappointment, it wasn't meaningless. It forged you. It refined you. It peeled away what couldn't come with you. And now, here you are, standing on the edge of a day that looks like a joke to the world, but may be the most serious day of your life. You know what you must do, not because I say it, but because your spirit already knew. Even before this moment, even before these words, something deep in you was stirring, waiting, listening for confirmation. And now it has come. So what will you do? What will you choose? Because the hour is here, and heaven is watching. You may feel unready, you may feel unworthy, but heaven never called the qualified, it qualifies the called. And the call has come to you not because of who you are now, but because of who you are meant to become. The call doesn't speak to your fear, it speaks to your purpose. It doesn't see your failure, it sees your future. It doesn't echo your excuses, it declares your destiny. And so here we are. A date approaches, the world laughs, the stage is set, and while the multitude sleepwalk through another day of jokes and jests, the Spirit cries out for the one who will see, the one who will hear, the one who will respond, the one who understands that eternity sometimes hides itself in the most unexpected places. It is not a coincidence that the world has chosen to laugh on this day. The enemy always mocks what he fears, and he fears this moment, fears your awakening, fears your obedience, fears what happens when the chosen one stops hiding and starts rising. So what has he done? He has covered the day with comedy, wrapped the sacred in sarcasm. He has taught the world to call April 1st a fool's day. But isn't that just like the enemy? To take a divine appointment and twist it until no one recognizes it for what it truly is? To take the day of decision and convince the masses it's meaningless, but not you, because your eyes have begun to open, because the veil is lifting, because something inside you is burning again, a flicker maybe, but enough to light the way if you follow it. This isn't about fear, this is about fire, because you were born to carry something holy, not a religion, not a ritual, a presence, a fire, a word. And that fire is being stirred even now. You feel it, don't you? In the middle of the chaos, beneath the noise of culture, past the voices of doubt, you hear it. A call, a whisper, a summons. It won't shout, it won't force. It waits for your yes. Because the kingdom does not advance through coercion, it advances through consecration, through the quiet yet thunderous sound of a life fully surrendered. And that is what this day is demanding. Not a halfway faith, not a once-a-week devotion, not a faith built on feelings, but a faith forged in the fire of choice. This kind of surrender costs something. It costs your pride, your comfort, your convenience. It demands that you stop building kingdoms of your own name. It requires you to lay down your reputation, your agenda, even your fears. It calls you to walk by faith when sight offers no reassurance, to step out when logic demands you stay. But it is in that surrender that the true you emerges, not the version shaped by culture, not the version wounded by life, not the version who learned to survive, but the one called to lead. And leadership begins with obedience, with listening to the whisper when others are shouting, with choosing the narrow path when the wide one beckons, with standing in the middle of a laughing crowd and refusing to laugh with them, because you see what they don't. This is your test, not just a test of behavior, but of vision. Can you see what's really happening? Can you perceive what lies beneath the surface? Can you discern the moment? The scriptures say the sons of Issachar understood the times and knew what Israel should do. That kind of discernment is rare. That kind of wisdom is costly. But you are being invited into it, into the discernment of the moment, into the understanding of why this day matters more than it seems. There's something being released on this day, not just over the world, but in you. A breaking, a shifting, a divine confrontation with every place of delay, doubt, and disobedience. The things you tolerated before will now rise up and demand to be dealt with. The things you avoided will press in. The old ways will no longer work, because the time has changed. You cannot walk into a new season wearing the garments of the old. The garments of passivity, the garments of fear, the garments of self-preservation, they must come off. You are being clothed in something new. But new garments require new posture. And new posture begins with repentance. Not shame, not self-hatred, repentance. The sacred, holy act of turning, of coming back, of bowing low so that you can rise rightly. The enemy will tempt you to ignore it, to delay, to convince yourself you're imagining things, that it's just emotion, just a phase, just words. But the enemy has always feared words, because the Word created the universe, because the Word became flesh, because the Word is alive. And the Word is being spoken to you now, not through thunder, but through fire, not from a pulpit, but from the depths of your own spirit. This is not second-hand revelation. This is your personal encounter. There is no more time for waiting, no more time for indecision, no more pretending you haven't seen. You have seen, and once you see, you are accountable for the vision. You may be thinking, but what if I'm wrong? What if I say yes and nothing happens? But I ask you, what if you're right? What if this is your moment? What if this is your appointment? What if the silence you've endured was only waiting for this day? Because sometimes heaven doesn't speak until it's time to move. Sometimes the silence is the sound of divine breath being drawn before a word is released that changes everything. And you, chosen one, are on the edge of that word. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are not too small. In fact, it is your smallness that qualifies you. Because God resists the proud, but gives grace to the humble. Because his power is made perfect in weakness. Because his ways are not your ways. He doesn't choose the obvious, he chooses the obedient. And obedience doesn't wait for clarity, it moves at the sound of his voice. This is your burning bush, your Jordan River, your upper room, your Damascus road, your moment in the wilderness where a decision becomes a destiny. But decisions demand action, and action demands courage. And courage is not the absence of fear, it is obedience in the face of it. So tremble if you must, cry if you must, but do not delay. There is an urgency in the spirit realm that does not match the casualness of the natural one. And if you lean into it, you'll feel it. Like pressure, like birth pangs, like something groaning to be born, because something is being birthed in you. A calling, a shift, a new identity. But birth is always preceded by pain, by pressure, by a point of no return. You are at that point now. You can't go back to who you were. You can't unhear what you've heard. You can't unknow what you now know. So why hesitate? Because the world won't wait for you, the shaking won't pause, the hour won't rewind, and heaven's trumpet is not a lullaby, it is a battle cry. The battlefield is not just outside you, it is within you, in your thoughts, in your will, in your surrender. But take heart, you are not alone. The same spirit that hovered over the deep before light ever was, hovers now over the chaos of your life, ready to bring order, ready to speak light, ready to resurrect what has lain dormant too long. But he waits for your yes, not a passive yes, not a silent yes, a full-throated, soul-deep, no turning back yes. That yes may cost you friends, it may cost you comfort, it may cost you the approval of those who once celebrated you. But the price is nothing compared to the promise. And the promise is this: if you lose your life for his sake, you will find it. So count the cost. Feel the weight. Then take a breath, lift your eyes, and say yes anyway. Because April 1st may be the day they call foolish, but heaven may remember it as the day the chosen one rose. And heaven is still watching. Because heaven does not forget the moments when earth shifts. When a soul, unseen by the world, stands up in a room alone, no spotlight, no applause, and says, I will follow. Those are the moments that alter the atmosphere. Those are the yeses that heaven writes into eternity. Not the loud, not the flashy, not the famous, but the faithful. And when your yes comes on the day of fools, it carries more weight than you know. Because the true fool is not the one mocked by the world, but the one who hears the call and turns away. And though the world might label you the fool for believing in this moment, for obeying an unseen voice, for surrendering to a stirring in your spirit, eternity knows better. You are not the fool, you are the one who heard. You are the one who saw. You are the one who answered when others laughed. And even now, something is happening in the invisible, in the spiritual. Chains are breaking, not with the sound of crashing iron, but in quiet obedience. Yokes are lifting, assignments are shifting. That weight you've carried of shame, of confusion, of restlessness, it wasn't yours to carry, and in this moment it is beginning to lift. The enemy has been terrified of this moment. That's why the distractions came so strong. That's why the temptation to dismiss this as just emotion is so loud. That's why compromise has knocked so often, trying to pull you into the safe and small. Because your yes is dangerous. Your surrender has weight. The ripple effect of your decision will not stop with you. It will move through generations, through cities. There is no such thing as a small yes in the hands of a great God. You've felt stuck, you've wondered why doors haven't opened, why clarity hasn't come, why breakthrough felt far away, but it wasn't because God was far, it was because He was waiting, waiting for the right moment, waiting for the fullness of time, waiting for this day, the day appointed for the unveiling, the day marked by the mocking of men, but honored in the courts of heaven. And now the clock ticks closer, the day draws near, and you are being positioned, not just to survive what's coming, but to lead in it, to shine in it, to carry a word that cuts through the fog and pierces the dark. But that word cannot come through lips still bound by fear. It comes through surrender, it comes through fire, it comes through death. Death to pride, to performance, to pretending. The invitation of this moment is death, but not the end. Death unto resurrection. Death unto glory. Death unto truth. Because unless a seed falls into the ground and dies, it remains alone. But if it dies, it brings what in you must die, what must be buried, not because it was bad, but because its time is over. What dream, what relationship, what identity, what expectation must be laid into the soil so that new life can spring forth. This is why the season has felt so strange, why you felt pulled between two worlds, two versions of yourself, two timelines, because you are in between. You are in the space between death and resurrection, between goodbye and hello, between the mask and the mirror, and April 1st becomes your crossover. The world calls it a day for pranks and jesters, but heaven sees it as a Red Sea moment, a Jordan moment, the crossing of a threshold not marked by a crowd, but by consecration, and only the consecrated can cross. This is why the fire has turned up, why the pressure increased, why you've had to walk through storms that made no sense. Because fire does not come to destroy, it comes to purify, to refine, to prepare. You are being prepared not for safety, but for assignment. And the assignment requires your yes. The yes that doesn't wait for understanding. The yes that doesn't need to know what's next. The yes that says, even if none go with me, still I will follow. Because the next chapter cannot be written in the ink of compromise. It must be written in the ink of blood and fire, sacrifice and passion. And you, chosen one, are the pen. But pens don't write unless they are pressed, unless they are guided, unless they surrender to the hand that holds them. Let yourself be written. Let your life become the scroll on which heaven tells its story. You don't have to be strong enough. You don't have to have the answers. You don't even have to feel ready. You just have to be willing. Willing to follow the whisper when it's drowned out by noise. Willing to trust the fire when it doesn't feel safe. Willing to say yes when everything in your flesh screams no. And when you do, everything changes. Not all at once, not with fireworks, but with a shift, a new alignment, a new clarity, a new authority, the kind of authority that only comes through surrender, not the authority of title, but of truth, the authority of one who has nothing left to lose because they've already laid it all down. That kind of authority terrifies darkness, because darkness cannot manipulate a surrendered heart. It cannot bribe a laid down life. It cannot intimidate a soul that has already died to the world. You are becoming that kind of soul. And this is your moment. You may feel like you are standing on the edge of everything and nothing. Like if you leap, you may fall. But what if you don't fall? What if you fly? What if the ground that catches you is not the one you expected, but the one you were destined for? You will never know unless you move, unless you say yes, unless you lay it down. April 1st is not just a warning, it is an invitation to walk differently, to speak differently, to live as if you know that the world is not your home, that your purpose is not your own, that your life is not random. You were born for this moment, not to spectate, not to survive, but to shift the atmosphere. You are the answer to someone's cry. You are the carrier of someone's breakthrough. You are the vessel through which the divine wants to pour. But the vessel must be empty to be filled. So empty. Empty of pride, of pretending, of chasing approval, of dead religion, of half faith, of the illusion that you can control what was never yours to hold. And as you empty, He will fill. He will fill with wisdom, with power, with clarity, with peace. Not the kind the world gives, but the kind that stands firm while the world shakes. The kind that sleeps in the storm. The kind that sings in the prison. The kind that burns but is not consumed. That is what you were made for. Not for the applause of man, but for the pleasure of God. Not for survival, but for surrender. Not to blend in, but to blaze. So on April 1st, let the world mock, let them laugh, let them scroll past, joke, dismiss. But you will kneel, you will weep, you will surrender, you will rise. Because the foolishness of the world is wisdom in the eyes of God. And this so-called foolish day may be the day that marks the turning point of your entire life. Do not miss it, do not dismiss it, do not delay. You were chosen for this, born for this, prepared for this, and now it is time. So now the time for hesitation is over. The moment is here, and the decision stands before you, not as a distant idea, but as a living invitation. You can walk away, return to the comfort of familiar patterns, and let the noise of the world drown out the whisper of destiny. Or you can answer. You can say yes, not to a man, not to a date on a calendar, but to the one who formed you for such a time as this. This is not just about April 1st. This is about eternity invading time, about heaven marking a moment as sacred while the world laughs. It's about the divine calling forth the chosen, not the perfect, not the powerful, but the willing, the surrendered. You are that one. You are the chosen. Let them laugh. Let the world mock. But let heaven rejoice, because the day the world calls foolish may just be the day you stepped into your destiny. Choose, respond, rise. For this April 1st, everything changes. Ladies and gentlemen, tonight I invite you to turn inward, to consider the infinite power that dwells within you, the power of your own consciousness. You have been told that all things are possible to the one who believes, and yet belief is not something that is grasped externally. It is not found in the world of facts and circumstances, but in the unseen realm of your own mind. The world that surrounds you is nothing more than a shadow cast by the light of your inner state. What you accept as true within, you will see reflected without. The great secret is this: consciousness is the only reality. What you are conscious of being, you become. What you persistently imagine and accept as real will harden into fact. This is not a theory, but a law, an eternal principle that governs creation itself. Look upon your world and understand that it is only a mirror. Every joy and every sorrow, every triumph and every defeat is the outpicturing of your inner conversations, the silent assumptions you have made about yourself and life. You do not attract what you want, you attract what you are conscious of being. If you wish to change your world, you must first change your mind. Dare to assume the highest for yourself. Clothe yourself in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. Walk as though it were already done, and the world will move to accommodate your assumption. The outer must conform to the inner. This is the law, and it does not fail. There is no power outside of you greater than the power within you. No circumstance, no condition, no history can bind you when you awaken to the truth of your own creative power. You are not a victim of fate, not a pawn in the hands of chance. You are the operant power. Your mind, your imagination, is the divine instrument through which all things are made. So tonight, let go of the false idea that you are at the mercy of the world. You are the architect, the dreamer, the creator. Choose this moment to assume the best, to dwell in the feeling of your desire fulfilled. And as surely as the night gives way to the dawn, your assumption will rise into form, for nothing is impossible to the one who knows the truth. Dare to believe, and you will see the glory of creation unfold before your very eyes. The world you see before you is nothing more than an outpicturing of the consciousness you hold within. You have been conditioned to believe that life happens to you, that circumstances are imposed upon you by forces beyond your control. But I tell you, nothing comes into your experience except that which is first conceived in the mind. Your consciousness is the womb of creation. It is the beginning and the end of all that you shall ever experience. You are not bound by the limitations of the past. The past is only a record of previous assumptions, and assumptions can be changed. Your present world exists only because of the thoughts, beliefs, and feelings you have entertained consistently. If you would change your world, change your assumption. Do not concern yourself with how it will come to pass. The means will be provided if you remain faithful to your inner vision. The world will rearrange itself to reflect your new state of consciousness. There is no power outside of you greater than the power within you. When you truly understand this, you will cease to struggle, cease to fight against conditions, cease to beg and plead with a distant power. Instead, you will turn within and assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled. This assumption, if persisted in, will crystallize into fact. The law is impersonal. It does not judge what you accept as true. It only delivers according to your belief. If you believe yourself to be poor, no effort, no struggle, no pleading will lift you from that state until you first assume the consciousness of wealth. If you see yourself as sick, you will find no lasting cure until you claim and feel the reality of health within. The outer world is powerless to alter your state until you first alter it within yourself. You are forever molding the world in the image of your consciousness. Look around you. Every man, every woman, every event that comes into your experience has been drawn to you by your state of being. You need not look to others for salvation. Salvation lies within. You need not beg for change. Change is the natural result of a shift in consciousness. You need not fear the future, for the future is only the projection of your present state. Many believe they must struggle, work endlessly, and suffer to achieve their desires, but this is a false teaching. It is not effort that brings forth manifestations, it is assumption. It is the quiet yet unwavering conviction that what you desire is already yours. And this conviction is not to be sought outside, but cultivated within. Close your eyes and dwell upon your ideal. See yourself as already possessing that which you seek. Feel it, embody it, and persist in it. The moment you claim it inwardly, it begins to take form outwardly. You must train yourself to live from the end, to think from the state you wish to be rather than of it. Those who think of their desire are always longing, always reaching, always waiting. But those who think from their desire are living in the reality of it now, and because they are living in it inwardly, the outer world must conform. This is the great secret that few understand. What you accept in imagination will become your reality. The world is not solid, it is fluid, ever shaping itself according to the images held in mind. The things you call facts are only hardened assumptions. They have no permanence except that which you give them. A circumstance that seems impossible to change will dissolve the moment you withdraw your belief from it. You do not need to fight it or resist it. Simply remove your attention from it and assume the opposite. And it is, do not be deceived by appearances. The senses will tell you that things are fixed, that conditions are unchangeable, that you are limited by external factors. But your senses are only reflecting what you have accepted as true. They are not creators. They are servants of your inner state. If you change your assumption, your senses will in time confirm the new reality. There is no limit to what you may claim for yourself. The only limit is the one you accept. If you believe a thing is impossible, It will be impossible for you. If you believe a thing is within reach, it will come swiftly. And if you dare to assume it is already yours, then nothing in heaven or earth can prevent its fulfillment. Do not concern yourself with how your desire will come to pass. The mind of man is too limited to comprehend the infinite ways in which consciousness brings forth its creations. Simply assume it is done, and let the unseen forces of the universe move on your behalf. You need only be faithful to your assumption. Every great transformation begins with an idea held in mind. The world has been changed not by those who conform to external conditions, but by those who dared to believe in an unseen reality. Every invention, every work of art, every great movement in history began in the mind of one who saw beyond appearances and persisted in their vision. The same power that shaped the world is the power within you. You are not meant to live in lack, in fear, in limitation. These are the results of false beliefs, and false beliefs can be cast aside. You are not a victim of fate. You are the master of your destiny. The only question is whether you will claim your power. Do not say, I will be. This places your desire always in the future, always beyond reach. Say instead, I am. Feel yourself already in possession of that which you seek. Do not wait for the world to change before you assume it is done. Assume first, and the world will change in response. There is no power working against you, except the power of your own doubt and disbelief. The moment you cast these aside and stand firm in your assumption, the world must bow to your vision. It is not arrogance to claim your desire, it is divine law. It is not foolishness to trust in imagination, it is the only way creation occurs. If you would see a different world, become a different person in consciousness. Do not look to others to change, change yourself. If you seek love, assume you are already loved. If you seek abundance, assume you are already wealthy. If you seek health, assume you are already whole. And as you persist in this inner knowing, the world will take shape accordingly. You must be persistent. The outer world will not always shift instantly, for it is merely a reflection of past thoughts. But if you remain steadfast, if you refuse to accept anything contrary to your assumption, then what was once only an idea will become an undeniable fact. Do not waver. The seed that is planted must be given time to grow. The moment you plant it, the process has begun, and if you nourish it with faith, it must bear fruit. Live as though you already are the person you wish to be. Speak as that person, think as that person, walk as that person. Do not let the old beliefs creep in to shake your confidence. When doubts arise, remind yourself, consciousness is the only reality. The outer world is secondary. It must follow where consciousness leads. The truth is simple, yet profound. You are already what you seek to be. You need only awaken to it. Accept this now. Let it settle deep within your mind. Refuse to entertain any thought that contradicts it. And as surely as the sun rises, the world will shift to reflect the new you. Dare to believe in your own power, for it is the power of creation itself. Everything you see, everything you experience, is but a reflection of what you have accepted as true. Change your assumption, and you change your world. This is the law, and it never fails. The mind is the doorway through which all things come into existence. It is not the external world that shapes your destiny, but the unseen forces of thought, assumption, and feeling that reside within. Every great teacher, every mystic, every awakened soul has spoken of this truth in one way or another. As within, so without. The world you move through is but a canvas upon which your state of being is projected. It is not something outside of you that must be changed first. It is your consciousness that must be transformed, and then the outer will follow effortlessly. You have been conditioned to look at circumstances and believe them to be facts, immovable and fixed. You have been taught that your conditions dictate your emotions, your actions, your sense of self. But I tell you, this is a falsehood. It is not your conditions that determine your inner world. It is your inner world that determines your conditions. If you change what you accept as true within, the external world must reshape itself to mirror that truth. Take a moment now and consider the power that lies in this realization. If everything you experience is only the result of what you have accepted within, then nothing is beyond your control. Nothing is set in stone unless you make it so. Your failures, your struggles, your limitations are not barriers imposed upon you by some external force, but simply the outpicturing of past states of mind. And if they are but projections, then they can be changed. If you change your mind, your world must change with it. Do not allow the senses to deceive you. The five senses show you only what is, not what can be. The senses bind you to appearances, but your imagination sets you free. It is through imagination that you can select the reality you wish to experience. It is through assumption that you make it real. Close your eyes and see yourself as the person you long to be. Feel the joy of it. Breathe it in as if it were already your truth. For if you remain faithful to this vision, it must become your experience. You have always been using this power, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Every moment of your life, you have been assuming things about yourself, about others, about the world. And whether those assumptions were conscious or unconscious, they have shaped your reality. Look around at your life. Every condition, every relationship, every opportunity or lack thereof has been summoned by what you have persistently believed. If you accept limitation, you will live in limitation. If you accept freedom, you will experience freedom. If you accept abundance, abundance must appear. There is no force outside of you dictating what you may or may not have. There is only the law of assumption, acting without fail, bringing into form whatever you hold as true. Do not make the mistake of thinking that you must struggle to change your conditions directly. That is like trying to change your reflection in a mirror without changing yourself. The mirror only reflects back what is placed before it. If you wish to see something different, you must become something different. What then should you do? You must live in the end. You must assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled and persist in it until it becomes your dominant state of being. There can be no wavering, no looking back, no entertaining of doubt. The moment you accept something in imagination, it begins to take root. The unseen forces of creation immediately begin moving to bring it into form. You may not see it right away, but the process has begun. Just as a seed must be given time to grow, so too must your assumption be given time to harden into reality. There will be moments when the senses will try to contradict what you have assumed. They will whisper to you that nothing has changed, that your vision is mere fantasy. But this is the test. Will you believe the world of appearances, or will you trust in the unseen power within? If you hold fast, if you refuse to accept anything contrary to your assumption, then the world must yield. It has no choice. The outer world is not a cause, it is an effect. The cause is always within. Many will tell you that change takes time, that circumstances must gradually shift, that progress is slow. But time is an illusion of the senses. In truth, there is only now. The moment you assume something as true in consciousness, it is done. It exists in the unseen realm and will become visible in due course. The only delay is the resistance you hold within. The doubts, the fears, the disbelief, these are the only obstacle. Remove them, and the manifestation must come swiftly. You do not need to know how it will happen. The mind, with its limited reasoning, will always try to figure out the means, but this is not your concern. Creation is finished. Every possibility already exists. The path to its fulfillment will be shown to you in perfect order. Do not waste energy worrying over details. Assume the end, and the means will unfold naturally. If you wish to be prosperous, assume that you already are. Feel it as if it were true, and life will arrange itself to make it so. If you desire love, assume that you are already deeply loved and cherished, and the right people will enter your life. If you seek health, assume the vitality of perfect well-being, and your body will conform to your belief. The world does not happen to you, it happens through you. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the operant power, the creator of your reality. There is no one to change but yourself. You need not convince others. You need not battle against conditions. You need only assume the feeling of your desire fulfilled and let the world move in response. The reason so few realize this truth is because they continue to react to the world rather than command it. They see something they do not like and dwell upon it, reinforcing it in consciousness, making it more real. They complain, they worry, they lament their misfortune, never realizing that all they are doing is perpetuating the state they wish to escape. If instead they would turn within, if they would discipline their minds to see only what they desire to see, then the world would transform before them. So it is not enough to merely know this truth. Knowledge alone does not create. You must apply it. You must test it in your own life. Begin now. Close your eyes and imagine yourself as the person you wish to be. Do not imagine it as something in the future. Imagine it as now. Feel it, embody it, live in it mentally, as if it were already true. Let the sensation of it become real in you. And then, when you open your eyes, walk in that assumption. Do not waver. Do not look to the world for confirmation. Know that it is done, and the world will prove you right. This is the law, and it does not fail. It is the same yesterday, today, and forever. It has brought into being all that is seen and unseen. It is the law of creation, the law of consciousness, the law that governs all things. Use it wisely, use it deliberately, use it with the full knowing that you are the master of your fate. The moment you claim it, the moment you take responsibility for your own consciousness, you will see miracles unfold before your very eyes. Dare to believe in the power within you. Dare to assume the highest and best for yourself. For what you assume to be true in consciousness will inevitably become your experience. This is the way of creation. This is the secret of life. And it is yours to use as you will. You are standing at the threshold of infinite possibility, for within you lies the key to all creation. The power that formed the stars, that shaped the mountains, that set the tides in motion, is the same power that governs your mind. This power does not reside in some distant heaven, nor is it held by another. It is within you, always responding to the assumptions you hold, always molding itself into the shape of your belief. You have never been separate from it, for you and this power are one. The question is not whether you possess it, but whether you will awaken to it. Every thought, every feeling, every assumption you persist in moves unseen forces to bring itself into form. This process is constant, ceaseless, and impartial. It does not ask whether you desire a thing. It only knows to bring forth whatever you most consistently dwell upon. If you have ever wondered why certain patterns repeat in your life, why the same struggles arise again and again, look no further than the state of being you have accepted as true. If you persist in thoughts of limitation, limitation will manifest. If you persist in thoughts of abundance, abundance will come. The world outside is nothing but the echo of your inner world. You must be vigilant in your awareness, for the mind is easily swayed by appearances. The senses tempt you to believe in lack, in struggle, in delay, but this is an illusion. The outer world is but the shadow of past thoughts. It has no power in itself. It is only a reflection. If you allow yourself to be deceived by what you see, you will continue to create the same conditions over and over again. But if you turn within and accept only the reality of your desired state, the outer world must yield. It has no choice, for it is bound to follow consciousness. Do not say, I will be happy when this or that happens. This is the language of one who is asleep to their power. Do not look to circumstances to grant you permission to feel what you desire to feel. Circumstances follow feeling, never the other way around. If you would be happy, assume happiness now. If you would be free, assume freedom now. If you would be loved, assume love now. It is not something you wait for, it is something you claim. There is no power in effort, no virtue in struggle. The moment you believe you must fight to achieve your desires, you have already placed them outside of yourself. But nothing exists outside of you. There is only consciousness, and what you assume within it must come to pass. The moment you accept a thing as real, the means to its fulfillment begin to unfold. You do not have to force it, you do not have to chase it, you only have to know it is done. And the world, obedient to the law, will move in ways you cannot predict to bring it into being. Dare to test this for yourself. Take a desire that burns within you, something you have longed for but have not yet realized. Do not consider whether it is possible. Do not ask how it will come to be. Simply assume in this moment that it is already yours. Feel it as though it were true. Walk in that feeling. Dwell in it. Let it become your natural state. And then watch. As the world reshapes itself before your very eyes, you may wonder, if this is so simple, why have I not always lived this way? The answer is that you have been conditioned to believe in effort, in struggle, in cause and effect as the world teaches it. You have been told that success requires toil, that love is something to be earned, that health is dictated by external conditions. But these are all illusions born of ignorance. The truth is far simpler, and yet so few accept it. You need only change your assumption, and the world must conform. The greatest error man makes is to believe in his own powerlessness. He looks at circumstances and believes they are fixed. He waits for something outside of himself to change before he allows himself to feel differently. But the moment he understands that his consciousness is the only reality, that nothing exists outside of his own mind, he is set free. He no longer waits for the world to shift, he shifts himself, and the world follows. There is no such thing as luck, no such thing as fate, no such thing as chance. There is only consciousness, creating in perfect order, in perfect accordance with the beliefs it holds. The rich man is not rich by accident, nor is the poor man poor by misfortune. They are simply living out the assumptions they have accepted as true. If you would change your life, you must first change yourself. There is no other way. If you could but grasp the magnitude of this truth, you would never again feel fear, never again feel lack, never again feel bound by the conditions of the world. You would walk as one who knows that all things are already his. You would cease to struggle, cease to doubt, cease to be moved by appearances, for you would know that appearances are only the outpicturing of what has already been accepted in mind, and that by changing the mind, you change the world. And consider for a moment the great figures of history, those who shaped nations, who created movements, who built empires. Did they wait for the world to tell them what was possible? Did they seek permission before they acted? No, they first saw the vision within themselves, and they lived in that vision until it became reality. They did not ask whether it was reasonable, whether others believed it, whether circumstances allowed it. They knew it was so, and the world had no choice but to conform. You are no different. The same power that worked through them works through you. The only difference is that they claimed it, while most do not. They did not allow doubt to steal their vision. They did not allow appearances to dictate their beliefs. They held fast to the unseen, and the unseen became seen. Now it is your turn. Will you continue to live as though you were at the mercy of the world? Or will you rise up and claim your birthright? Will you continue to react to circumstances, or will you create them? The choice is always yours, and the law is always working. Whether you use it consciously or unconsciously, it does not change. It is the same for all, and it plays no favorites. You are always creating. There is no moment when you are not. The only question is whether you will create deliberately or by default. If you would change your life, begin now. Do not wait, do not hesitate, do not seek validation from the world. Assume the best for yourself and persist in that assumption. Let the world do what it may. Your job is to remain faithful to your vision. When doubts arise, remind yourself that they have no power except what you give them. When the senses tempt you to believe otherwise, turn inward and reaffirm your assumption. And when you feel the urge to struggle, to force, to fight, remember that the only battle is within. Win that battle, and the outer world must yield. You are the master of your fate, the creator of your world, the architect of your destiny. The only limit is the one you accept. Dare to assume the highest, and life will prove to you that nothing is impossible. For what you accept in consciousness, you will experience in form. This is the truth, and it is yours to use as you will. You stand at the precipice of infinite creation, whether you realize it or not. Every moment you are choosing, shaping, defining the world you will experience. Whether you do so deliberately or unconsciously, the process is the same. There is no pause, no moment when you are not impressing upon the unseen substance of reality the nature of your belief. The great error of man is not that he does not create, but that he creates without awareness, allowing his mind to be governed by the external rather than taking dominion within. You have been told to believe in the evidence of your senses, to trust in facts, to accept the world as it appears. But I tell you, to live by the senses is to be enslaved by the past, for the outer world is nothing but a reflection of previous assumptions. If you continue to react to what you see, you will only perpetuate the same conditions over and over again. The only way to bring about true change is to withdraw attention from appearances and dwell instead in the reality you desire. Most people live as prisoners of circumstance, believing that life is happening to them rather than through them. They pray for change, they struggle against conditions, they seek solutions outside of themselves, never realizing that they are the cause of all they experience. They search for power in the world, not understanding that the only power is within. The moment you awaken to this truth, you are free. You will no longer beg, no longer wait, no longer fear. You will know that the world must move to reflect your inner state, and you will shape it with ease. If you would change your life, you must begin at the root, and the root is always your state of being. If you are unhappy, do not seek happiness in external things. Assume happiness within. If you feel powerless, do not look for power in the world, claim it in consciousness. If you are lonely, do not wait for someone to come and love you. Assume you are already loved. For the world cannot give you what you do not first accept within yourself. Everything you seek is already yours, waiting only for you to recognize it. You may wonder how such a thing is possible. You have been told all your life that effort is required, that results take time, that you must struggle to achieve what you desire, but this is a lie born of ignorance. Creation is already finished. All possibilities exist now. You do not create from nothing, you select from the infinite. The life you desire is already present in the unseen. It is waiting for you to align with it, to claim it as your own. The moment you do, the bridge of events will unfold effortlessly, leading you to its fulfillment. Do not be deceived by time. The senses will tell you that change takes time, that things happen gradually, that you must wait. But time itself is an illusion, a construct of the mind. There is only now. The moment you assume a thing is true, it is true. The only delay is the resistance you hold within, the doubts, the fears, the wavering of belief. The more you dwell in the certainty of your assumption, the more swiftly it will come into form. You do not need to struggle, to fight, to make things happen. You need only assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in that state. The world will move in response to your conviction. The circumstances, the people, the opportunities necessary for your vision to materialize will be drawn to you. You need not concern yourself with how this will happen. The how is not your responsibility. Your responsibility is to assume the end and let the unseen forces of creation arrange the means. Many people fail because they allow appearances to shake their belief. They assume a new state, and when they do not see immediate evidence, they waver, they doubt, they return to their old assumptions. But faith is not in seeing, it is in knowing. You must persist even when nothing in the world confirms your assumption. You must walk by inner vision, not by sight. And if you do, the outer world must conform in time. The law cannot fail. Think of all the times you have assumed something to be true only to see it unfold in your life. Perhaps you feared the worst, and the worst happened. Perhaps you expected disappointment, and disappointment came. Perhaps you believed yourself unworthy, and life reflected that unworthiness back to you. These were not accidents. They were the natural outpicturing of your state of being. And just as you have manifested undesired conditions through unconscious assumption, so too can you now deliberately assume only that which you wish to experience. You must train your mind to dwell only on that which you wish to see expressed. The mind left undisciplined will wander, will react, will entertain all manner of doubt and limitation. But you are not the servant of your mind, you are its master. Direct it, command it, do not let it dwell on that which you do not wish to experience. The moment a thought arises that contradicts your vision, reject it, replace it with the assumption of your desire fulfilled. Be ruthless in your discipline, for only the persistent achieve mastery. There is no limit to what you may assume for yourself. The only limit is what you dare to believe. If you believe a thing is possible, it is possible for you. If you believe it is beyond reach, then so it shall be. The law is impersonal, it does not judge, it does not favor, it only brings into being that which you hold as true. Therefore, take no thought of what others say, of what the world tells you is possible or impossible. Believe only in your own inner conviction, and the world will bend to your assumption. You do not need permission to claim what is yours. You do not need validation, nor do you need to prove yourself to anyone. The moment you assume a thing in consciousness, it is done. Walk in that assumption, live in it, think from it, and let nothing shake you. If you persist, the world must bow to your vision. For the outer world is nothing but a shadow, and shadows have no choice but to follow the light. Look upon your life now and see it for what it truly is, not a series of random events, not the result of luck or misfortune, but the perfect reflection of your past assumptions. See it clearly and know that as you have shaped this life through previous beliefs, so too can you shape a new one through a change in consciousness. There is no condition too great to overcome, no desire too grand to be realized. The only question is whether you will accept it as true within. Take this knowledge now and make it your own. Do not merely listen to these words. Apply them. Begin this very moment to assume the best for yourself. Let go of the past, of the doubts, of the fears that have held you bound. They have no power except that which you give them. Assume the highest, the noblest, the most wonderful life for yourself, and persist in that assumption. And as surely as the sun rises, your world will reshape itself in the image of your belief. The power is in your hands, now and always. Use it wisely. Use it boldly. Use it with the full knowing that you are the master of your fate, the creator of your world, the divine operant power that shapes reality itself. Nothing is impossible to the one who dares to believe, and all things are yours if you will only claim them now. You are the creator, the architect, the designer of all that you experience. There is no power outside of you dictating your fate, no unseen hand pushing events into your life against your will. It is all the result of your state of being, your assumptions, your deep and often unconscious beliefs. You are not here to struggle, to suffer, to be tossed about by external forces beyond your control. You are here to awaken, to claim your rightful place as the operant power, to command reality by commanding your consciousness. Nothing is withheld from you except that which you refuse to assume as already yours. The very thing you long for, the very reality you dream of, is waiting for your recognition. It is not absent, it is not far away. It is here, now, within you, in the unseen realm of imagination, waiting for you to bring it into form. You do not need to reach for it, to strive for it, to beg for it. You need only assume it is already yours and let the world respond accordingly. The world is nothing more than crystallized imagination. Everything that exists was first imagined, first assumed as possible, first accepted in consciousness. Nothing comes into being except through this process. This is not philosophy, this is law. Whether you acknowledge it or not, you have always been using this power. The only difference is whether you use it deliberately or by default. Most people allow the world to dictate their assumptions. They react to what they see, never realizing that what they see is only a reflection of what they have previously assumed. They are trapped in an endless cycle, repeating the same patterns, wondering why their life never changes. But the moment you take control of your assumptions, the moment you choose deliberately what you will believe about yourself and your world, you step into mastery. You no longer react, you create. You no longer accept things as they are, you mold them into what you desire them to be. This is the great secret. This is the key that unlocks all doors. The world is not outside of you. It is within you. And if it is within you, then you can change it. You have been told that things take time, that results come slowly, that transformation is a long and arduous process. But I tell you, time is nothing but an illusion. There is only now. The moment you assume a thing to be true, it is true. The only reason you do not see immediate evidence is because you still waver, still doubt, still entertain thoughts of delay. But when you accept a thing fully, when you live in the feeling of its reality, it must come to pass. You may ask, but what if my present circumstances contradict my assumption? And I tell you, ignore them. Do not be moved by appearances. Appearances are nothing but the remnants of past thoughts, past assumptions, past states of being. They have no power in themselves. The only power is within you, in your present assumption. If you persist in a new state, the old must fade away. It cannot remain. It is law. You must learn to live from the end. This is the great secret of all creation. Those who achieve, who rise above limitation, who manifest their desires with ease, are those who have mastered the art of living from the end. They do not wait for evidence before they believe first, and the evidence follows. They assume the state of the wish fulfilled and dwell in it, knowing that the world will conform. And because they persist in this assumption, the world does conform. Doubt is the only enemy. It is the only thing that stands between you and the life you desire. When you entertain doubt, when you question whether your assumption is real, you undo your work. You must be unwavering. You must stand firm in your conviction. The moment you assume something in imagination, it is done. And if it is done, why would you doubt? Would you plant a seed and then dig it up each day to check if it is growing? No, you would trust in the process, knowing that unseen forces are at work, bringing your seed to fruition. So it is with assumption. The moment you claim something as yours, it is yours. Do not waver. Do not question. Do not look to the world for validation. Know it is so, and it will be. You do not need external confirmation. You do not need others to believe in you. The only thing required is that you believe in yourself. The world is merely a mirror, reflecting back what you hold to be true. If you assume wealth, the world will show you wealth. If you assume success, the world will present you with success. If you assume love, love will come into your life effortlessly. The law does not discriminate. It does not judge. It only delivers according to your assumption. There is no such thing as failure, only persistence in the wrong assumption. If you have not yet seen the results you desire, look within. What have you been assuming? What have you been accepting as true? Change that and you change everything. There is no limit to what you may claim for yourself. The only limit is what you dare to believe. If you can conceive it, if you can accept it in imagination, then it must become your reality. Your imagination is the creative power of the universe, and you are always using it. Every moment you are imagining something, whether consciously or unconsciously. You must take control. Do not let the mind wander into doubt and limitation. Direct it, guide it, command it, assume the best for yourself, and persist in that assumption until it hardens into fact. Many will tell you that this is too simple, that life is more complex, that external factors must be considered. But these are the words of those who do not understand. They have allowed the world to dictate their beliefs rather than realizing that their beliefs dictate the world. Do not listen to them. Trust in the law. Trust in your own power. Assume the highest and best for yourself, and life will prove you right. The world you experience is only a reflection of the world you hold within. If you wish to see change, change within first. Do not wait for circumstances to shift. Shift your state of being and the circumstances will follow. This is the great truth. This is the divine power that has been given to you. You are not separate from it. You are it. You are the creator, the cause, the center from which all things proceed. Begin now. Do not wait. Do not hesitate. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and persist in it. Let nothing shake you. Let nothing cause you to waver. Stand firm in your belief, and the world will move to match your assumption. For consciousness is the only reality, and what you accept in consciousness must be expressed in the world. This is law, and it does not fail. There is no greater truth than this. You are what you believe yourself to be. The world is what you assume it to be. Change your assumption, and you change everything. Accept this now, live by it, walk in it, and you will see the fullness of creation unfold before you. For nothing is impossible to the one who knows this truth and dares to apply it. The power is in your hands now and always. Use it wisely. Use it boldly. Use it with the full knowing that you are the master of your fate, the creator of your world, and that all things are possible to you if you will only assume them to be. There is nothing you cannot be, nothing you cannot do, nothing you cannot have if you will only dare to assume it as real. The only limitations you experience are those you have accepted. You were never born to be bound by circumstance, never meant to be a prisoner of past conditions. You were born to create, to express, to manifest the infinite potential that already exists within you. Every desire, every longing, every dream you hold is not something separate from you, but something calling you to recognize its reality. If it exists in your imagination, it exists as a potential reality, waiting for you to claim it. Your consciousness is the only reality. This truth is so simple, yet so few truly grasp it. They search outside of themselves, looking to the world for confirmation before they believe. But belief does not follow the world follows belief. Whatever you accept as true, you will see reflected in your experience. It is not a matter of luck or effort. It is not determined by the conditions around you. The only determining factor is what you assume to be real. Change your assumption, and you change your reality. Many hesitate, trapped by fear, by doubt, by the illusion of obstacles. They look at the world as it is and feel powerless to change it. But the world is not something happening to you, it is something happening through you. It is the projection of your consciousness, and just as a dreamer may change the course of a dream by changing their focus, so too can you shift the events of your life by assuming a new state of being. Nothing is set, nothing is fixed, all is fluid, responsive to the thoughts and assumptions you entertain. You may say, but I have tried before and nothing changed. And I tell you, it is not enough to try, you must persist. The world will test your faith, not because it is resisting you, but because it is showing you whether you truly believe. The moment you waver, the moment you entertain doubt, you undo your work. But if you persist, if you remain unwavering in your assumption, the world must conform. It has no choice, for it is only a mirror reflecting back to you what you accept within. Many believe they must act, must struggle, must make things happen through force. But action is secondary. It is only the expression of an already assumed state. The true work is done in the mind. If you assume yourself to be something, you will naturally act in accordance with that assumption, and the world will respond accordingly. But if you take action from a state of doubt, from a place of hoping rather than knowing, you will only reinforce your current reality. You must first change the assumption, and the actions will follow effortlessly. You have always been creating in this way, though perhaps unconsciously. Every condition in your life exists because at some level you accepted it as real. Whether good or bad, whether desired or undesired, it was brought forth by the assumptions you have carried. This is why it is essential to guard your mind, to watch your thoughts, to choose deliberately what you will accept as true. You are not at the mercy of circumstances, you are the cause of them. If you would be free, assume freedom. If you would be wealthy, assume wealth. If you would be loved, assume love. Do not wait for these things to come to you before you feel them. Feel them first, and they will come. Do not concern yourself with the how. The how is not your responsibility. The means will be provided in ways you could never predict. Trust in the unseen forces that move in response to your assumption. Trust that what you accept in mind must appear in form. You must persist. This is the key. The world will not always shift immediately, for it is only reflecting past beliefs. If you waver, if you doubt, if you look to appearances for validation, you will only prolong your current state. But if you hold fast, if you refuse to accept anything less than your desired reality, then the world must yield. It must conform. It must bring forth in form that which you have first claimed in consciousness. Let go of the belief that things take time. Let go of the idea that change is difficult. These are only assumptions and they can be discarded. Creation is finished. The moment you assume something is real, it is real. The only delay is the time it takes for you to fully accept it. The moment you surrender to the assumption completely, the world will shift to reflect it. Do not wait for permission to claim what is yours. You do not need to justify your desires, do not need to explain why you should have them. Desire itself is proof that what you seek is already within reach. If it were not possible, you would not have conceived of it. The very fact that you can imagine it means it exists as a potential reality. Your only task is to align with it, to accept it, to feel it as though it were already yours. The world will call this foolishness. It will tell you to be realistic, to follow the rules, to accept things as they are, but the world only speaks from its own limitations. It knows nothing of the unseen forces that govern all things. It knows nothing of the power within you. Do not listen to those who live by sight alone, for they are blind to the true nature of reality. Trust in what you know within. Trust in what you feel, for that which you assume in the silence of your mind will become the reality you walk through. Think now of something you desire, something that calls to you. Do not analyze it, do not question it, simply assume it is already yours. Feel the reality of it. Live in the end in a state of already having it. Let your mind dwell there, let your emotions align with it, let your entire being become saturated with the feeling of its fulfillment. And then, as you go about your day, refuse to entertain anything that contradicts this assumption. If doubt arises, dismiss it. If circumstances seem unchanged, ignore them. The outer world must conform, but only if you remain faithful within. If you can do this, if you can persist, if you can live as though your wish were already realized, you will see the power that has always been within you. You will understand that nothing has ever been beyond your reach, that all things have always been possible, that you have never been separate from the creative force that moves all things into being. You will no longer beg, no longer struggle, no longer wait for the world to give you permission to live the life you desire. You will simply assume it, and the world will bow to your assumption. There is nothing more to seek, nothing more to learn, nothing more to discover outside of yourself. Everything you need is already within. The power has always been yours. The question is whether you will finally claim it, whether you will dare to assume the highest and best for yourself, whether you will persist in your vision despite all appearances, whether you will trust in the unseen more than in what the world shows you. For if you do, you will see the truth of creation unfold before you. You will understand that you have always been the master, always been the cause, always been the creator of your own reality. And once you know this, truly know it, you will never again accept anything less than the fullness of your own divine power. You will walk through life as one who commands reality, as one who knows their assumption is law, as one who understands that all things are possible because all things are already yours. And so I leave you with this truth. You are the creator of your reality. There is no force outside of you shaping your destiny, only the assumptions you hold within. The world is your mirror, faithfully reflecting back to you all that you persistently believe. If you desire change, do not look to the external. Do not wait for circumstances to shift before you assume your rightful state. Assume it now. Live in the end. Walk as though you are already the person you wish to be, and the world will bow to your conviction. There is no secret beyond this, no higher power outside of your own consciousness. Everything you seek is already yours. The only question is whether you will claim it, whether you will trust in the unseen, whether you will persist in the assumption of your desire fulfilled despite all appearances. The law does not fail. It has never failed. It is always working, always creating, in perfect accordance with what you accept as true. So take this knowledge and use it. Apply it in your daily life. Dare to assume the best for yourself. Refuse to be moved by doubt, by fear, by the illusions of limitation. Stand firm in your knowing, and the world will yield to your assumption. For nothing is impossible to the one who understands that consciousness is the only reality, and that what is held in consciousness must without fail be expressed in form. Go forth now with confidence, with certainty, with the unwavering belief that you are the operant power, that you are the master of your fate, that all things are possible to you, and as you live in this truth, you will see it unfold in ways beyond your imagining. The world will reshape itself before your very eyes, and you will know beyond all doubt that you have always held the power within you. Use it well, use it deliberately, and watch as life transforms to match the highest vision you dare to assume.